Hi, I'm starting a new video, and this video is about the Illuminati. Okay, I'm waiting for this thing to cam up. Okay. Oddly as it may sound, I have been putting this off for a long time. But on March 19th, 2013, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I was sitting in my living room watching television. My daughter had a friend sleep over the night before, Logan, and she had slept on the floor. And she decided to take my daughter's bed. So I says, well, I'm not sleeping. You go in my room and go to sleep. So I was on the internet, and I was watching TV at the same time, and there was a knock at the door. And I went to open the door, and lo and behold, there was these 3 social workers out there and 2 police officers, and they broke into my house in a violent rage, and they kidnapped my 29-and-a-half-year-old daughter and gave me a piece of paper. She was charged with being an incapacitated person. The woman alleged, because I didn't know what was going on, that she had gone to the doctor on Friday, on March 15th, and talked about having a baby. And that she was going to make sure that that never happened again, and that I never did that again. I was with her. She went there with her friend Logan, and she talked about becoming a mother. She had a piece of paper, and she asked for a signature on it because she wanted to do home insemination because she was 29 and a half years old. She didn't have a partner, and her biological clock was ticking. The doctor said that he would be more than happy to sign it if he had a private practice, because he understands how the family would feel, but due to the Billings clinic, he was afraid that he would lose his license, and he wasn't able to sign it because we had gone to the infertility clinic with a Diana Cava about 9 months before, and she didn't want to do it. She discriminated against my daughter, and I should have sued her at the time. And basically, the nurse that interviewed us prior to seeing this doctor for 5 minutes that took her blood pressure called Holly Boyson, okay, this social worker that had been stalking me for over a year. Okay, I did not know that they were Illuminati through the duration of this case. Did not know that until after I moved away and after the case was closed. But anyway, I met Holly Boyson when I first moved to Montana. Okay, I moved there because I had won the lottery in Minnesota, $36,000 on a dollar ticket, and we decided that we were going to buy a house, pay cash for it, and just pay lot rent and utilities. Okay, so I found something on the internet in Billings, Montana, a house for $11,000, and I went there to purchase the house. Okay, it was a nightmare from the very beginning that I went to Billings, okay? Okay, I bought it from this Michelle. She was a bitch from hell. She was a Native American Indian, and she was the ugliest, fattest thing that you ever saw, and she worked for the government. After I purchased the house, I had hired somebody to move it, with the carport and the deck and everything. Upon coming to get the house, she stole the carport, the deck, the tires. When I went over there, she was stealing the screen door, the knobs, everything. I mean, she just robbed me. I paid $2,500 to have it just delivered across town. And these guys were scumbags, okay, who I hired, Aspen or something. I should have went with this other one, which I can't remember the name of, for $800. And they were supposed to do the skirting and everything. I was supposed to get the skirting. I only got half of that. It was all trashed and everything. I had to purchase new skirting, and I had paid them like $1,000 to put it on, and I had to purchase $600 worth of skirting. And you should see the batch job, which the guy that they contracted for $300 did, that I ended up taking them to court. Okay, the courtroom was crazy. I mean, I subpoenaed, this Dustin guy, and he was running in and out. He was completely nuts. I subpoenaed this guy, Phil, and I was trying to get this Michelle there, and she wrote this really nasty letter to the judge, okay, about me. Because she didn't show up and she didn't answer to the subpoena, okay, the judge threw it out. He wouldn't even read it. And I ended up not getting any of my money back because I just kind of declined at the end because the hearing was so bizarre and everything, and the judge, was like thinking, they were trying to make me look unstable when they were the ones that fucked me over big time. So we made an agreement that they were going to come back and finish the job, but, basically, I paid for $1,000 worth of work, and I I got $1,000 worth of work and I paid $2,500. You know, even though he came back and finished it, he still overcharged me $1,500, which I never got back. Okay, we joined the YMCA after moving there, and this Michelle bitch was a member of it. Okay, she was extremely jealous. I mean, you know, it took me 2 months to get her out of there. After purchasing the house, after owning it, after buying the air conditioner, she used the air conditioner for 2 months afterwards. We ended up in a hotel, which put me in $4,000 in financial ruin, okay, out of the money that I won, because she wouldn't leave the house. Okay, upon joining the YMCA, somebody made a call to Adult Protective Service. I don't know if it was her or if it was somebody else, but I think because my kids had some kind of a disability, they wanted us to get services. Okay, this Illuminati bitch, her name is Holly Boyson. She used to work for Children and Family Services in Montana, and they fired her up in Wolf Point. They didn't legitimately fire her. They made her resign because of all the bad things that she did and all the complaints that were against her and all the families that she was destroying. She doesn't have any children of her own, and to the best of my knowledge, she's never been married. But there's a possibility that she might have been married and the person divorced her. I can't find anything on the internet because she has everything erased. She doesn't have a Facebook, a Twitter. There isn't a picture of her. There isn't anything. She keeps her whole thing real secret. So she comes to my house and she says she got a complaint, you know, for abuse, you know, that I was being loud. I guess my son, I couldn't find him. It's a big place, and I called him. And somebody made a complaint about that. I mean, where's the abuse? I mean, I've never raised my hands to anybody in my life. You know, I might have had to defend myself once or twice, but I've never raised my hands to my kids, and we don't strike each other or hit each other. And it's never gone on. My father never raised his hands to my mother or to any of his children. And she says, "Do you have guardianship?" So I says, "No." I says, "They're adults. They're my children." I says, "They're not my property." So she says, "You know, I never heard of anybody getting 3 checks before." You know, and I was like, you know, and this woman basically forced herself into my house, comes into my house, sits down in the living room, on the couch, you know, like she owns the place. And if I don't let her in my house, she's going to call cops on me. You know, and she's got this disgusting, ugly-looking thing there, Lori Peterson Yamamoto, or I don't know, she had a Donna Henderson and a Mike Norberry, you know, she didn't come alone. You know, she like brought a gang, and she was like a real biker type chick. You know, like, you know, real sleazy. You know, thought that she was it and everything, trying to play all nice and everything, and they left. You know, and then that was it, and. During the time that I lived there, you know, after that, we joined some place. I guess they were going to this. We joined Special Olympics, and we were there for like maybe 4 weeks, and then all of a sudden they attacked me. I would just drive them there, pick them up, and they brought me in the back room, and they got real nasty with me and everything. We went to this thing, you know, I had filled out to be a volunteer because they were bored and they just wanted to be around people. You know, the kids were really severely retarded with Down syndrome and everything. I says, "Why do you have them with this group?" I says, you know, my kids are much higher functioning. And she says, "Well, they don't know how to play basketball. And the groups that are higher IQ'd like them know how to play basketball better." You know, what a bunch of BS, you know? And they just got really weird, you know. There was all kinds of red flags going up and everything, and it, you know, we decided we weren't going to go back there because they became very abusive towards me, extremely abusive. And I didn't know that Holly had been calling them. She basically picked up the phone and she said, "My name is Holly Boyson, and I'm from Adult Protective Service. And I'm investigating Jennifer Rawlinson for abuse and neglect. I want you to watch her closely and give me a call and tell me everything." So they started calling her back, you know, and basically she alleged it as calls when she instructed them to call her back. Okay, so we were out of there. And then we signed up for some educational classes at the Lincoln Center. They were going to go to school. And I was driving them there and dropping them off, and they would just walk in, and I would just come in to pick them up, you know, and wait within the hallway. I didn't even walk into the building within 5 minutes, you know, and they'd come out. And then the teacher started approaching me, you know, with all kinds of shit, because she knew that we were going there, and she was calling them and saying, "My name is Holly Boyson, and I'm from Adult Protective Service, and I'm investigating Jennifer Ralston." And then she would just malign me like, you know, I was this big monster and everything. And basically what it was that she was jealous, because I won the lottery, I owned my own car, I owned my own house. You know, we were very successful. We were doing well financially, $2,200 a month. And basically, I didn't know, because I'd never heard of such a thing. She wanted guardianship and estate. And she was premeditating, you know, assassinating my character, and so that she could get all our money. And I also didn't know that she was Illuminati, and that Laurie Peterson was Illuminati. You know, I just thought that they were Adult Protective Service, and that they were just, you know, a bunch of freaks, you know. And basically what happened was it got really bad there too. I was getting really abused and mistreated by this teacher, you know. And I'm 61 years old. This woman was like in her late 20s, and she wasn't even much to look at, and she thought she was all that, some Chris with some Polish last name, Ski or something. And you know, I started complaining about her behavior, you know, and you know, they were defending her about, you know, how wonderful she was and how they begged her to come there and everything and stuff. But, you know, I didn't know that she was being brave. She wasn't a nice person anyway. I mean, the reason why she worked there is because they wouldn't let her in a elementary or a middle school or a high school, because she couldn't get along with anybody. And she worked there 2 days a week, 2 hours each time. You know, my kids went to a school in Minnesota, an educational center. They went 5 days a week, from like 9 to 2 every single day. And I used to walk in and out of there with Muslims and Mexicans and people that didn't speak English. And they taught these people to speak English, and they taught them reading, writing, and math. And my kids did wonderful there. I mean, they really catched up on their academic. And this teacher was terrible. They didn't learn a damn thing. I mean, she was giving them first grade material, you know, and making them look like they were stupid, you know, and you know, when they're smart, and they're way above that, you know, and not teaching them anything. So we pulled out of there, and then we were bored again, so we signed up for this vocational rehab. Okay. And I've only got about another minute or two, and then I'm going to have to do part 2, and I'll get into the kidnapping on March 19, 2013, and the whole story of the Illuminati. So anyway, we joined vocational rehab, and Wade was going to go to computer school. My daughter wanted to go to beauty school and learn how to do nails, and I was going to learn some computer classes and get a job on the internet. You know, we were going to go successful, and you know, and get off the SSI. And this Anna Gibbs set us up. My son was in school at the Sylvania Center. He was learning a whole bunch of computer classes. My daughter, they sent her to see some Laura Wentfield or something that was going to do an evaluation. And I'll get into that in the next video.